everybody, welcome to Womiba Finance channel. And today I'll be telling you about the free visa, the best free visa you can get in Europe. All we know is that the powerhouse, the economic powerhouse in Europe is giving visa to job seekers. So which means you don't need a job to get this visa. You only need yourself and 5 years experience, which is the hardest thing. This 5 years experience will not be, because if you've graduated 2020, you will not have gotten that 5 years experience. So this dates back to people that graduated 2017, 2016, 17 with work experience. That's 5 years work experience. So this is the only problem I have seen so far. Many people asking me. This is the only problem in this visa. I will tell you the eligibility and I will tell you how to go about it. I will tag German authority, German immigration, their website, where you can go and apply for this visa. Because we understand that it is not for everybody. There are specific job roles, but these are in majority like engineering, customer service, chef. Yeah, Germany needs chef and other job roles in tech. I think I saw many tech, job roles there, and project management. Of course, healthcare is there, and anything that have to do with coding, Python, all these courses, they are there. Okay, now I will tell you the requirements. First of all, we know that if you're trying to come to Europe or travel outside your country, you need two things. You need passports and your state's identification. When we say state in this regard, we mean your nationality ID card. Because from what I read from Germany and what I know from Germany, as at last week, I applied for somebody. You need, they call it national ID card. You need a national ID card. So I don't know if you're from South Africa, your own might be different from Nigeria. Your own might be different from somewhere in Ghana. Your own will be different from someone in Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Kenya, Tanzania, Congo. All these African countries are participating in this Germany job seekers visa. Okay, now, so you have to get these two things. These are the basics. Then there's a police check. In Nigeria, we have what we call Nigerian Police Force. That is NPF. They are the one that can give you these character references when it's being demanded by all these immigration authorities. Because in Nigeria, we don't have like data, crime data board, that regulates, and we don't have that. We only have the police record. Unlike UK have what they call DBS. They have even police record. They have other things, register for child offenders, for abusers, for, they have many registers. But in Nigeria, it's only one body, and it is this MPF that gives it. Okay, now I've told you three things you need about identity and character reference. That's the only thing that is universal for everybody to get, because obviously you have to apply for a visa, and that visa goes into that your passport. Now, I don't know why many people, because Nigeria, I grew up in Nigeria, we don't normally have this national ID card, because I don't even know what it is, although I've been outside Nigeria for years. So why many countries are demanding this? Because of immigration rules. When most people come to Europe, they change country. So it's better you get this identity, national identity. I don't know, but in Nigeria, they are giving it now. Is it that they call it NIN? I don't know. National identity number or something. That's something they call it. Okay, now let us assume that you have gotten these three things, because these are must requirements you have to put, because somebody have to stamp visa on somewhere, because your passport serve that place where they will stamp the visa, or where they will place the visa, no matter which way they want to do it. Now they are not giving ID card from your country. Okay, now the requirements. Like I said before, you must be a graduate and you must hold a bachelor's degree. They didn't specify, whether you have 2-1 grades. They didn't. So anybody, even if you have passed that class, you can apply. There's nothing like rates, because in Canada, in most of the visa or nominees, they will say, or express entry jobs, they will say 2-2 is the least you can get. So, but in this case now, there's nothing like grade. So far, you have transcript and your results, whether third class or pass, you can apply for this Germany job seekers visa. Okay, number two is having that 5 years experience, which I know that would be very difficult. This is where many people will struggle, because if you graduate 2020, you will not have 5 years experience. If you graduate 2019, I think you will have experience, 5 years experience. 2019, no, you will not have experience up to 5 years experience. Remember, you will go for youth service before you have this experience. Although some people normally add that 1 year youth service to their, this now I've seen Kelechi added youth service experience to his paperwork. So, because it's an experience actually, yes, it's an experience. Now, when you graduate 2018, am I getting my numbers right? If I'm not getting it, correct me. 2018 to 2023 is that actual 5 years. But some people go for youth service and they teach, they didn't have experience based on what they study, like somebody that did civil engineering, because civil engineering is in job demand. I will list it here in the screen, the job demands. So civil engineering is there. So if you're teaching in the classroom, you're not having experience as a civil engineer. That's something I would like to clear for some people. Because if you have a 1 year, if you graduate in 2018 and that have 1 year youth service, then it's remaining 4 years plus, because we are still in 2023. Just try and see how you can give a clear 5 years experience, because this is the requirement, eligible requirement. This is eligible requirement, so you don't need to uh, um, uh, make mistake in this one. Give a standard 5 years clear experience. It mentioned the company, the reference have to back it up and all that. Then insurance, you have to have travel and health insurance, because you are a job seeker. You are not working for this country for you to benefit from their health service and travel insurance. If there's any problem with insurance, or you hire the car and the car hit your car, so there are second person's insurance, something something. So you have to factor that, because taxpayers are beneficiary of whatever state is given. So as a job seeker that is coming from Africa, you will not have that security as regards to health. If it were in UK NHS is free. So that is some certain places we have to be, making the lines and the and the differences so that people will know what suits them. So number 4 is a proof of funds. You have to prove that you have money to sustain you pending when you will have a job. They didn't specify, but they said a living wage of where you are staying. Because somebody that lives in Berlin will not spend the same amount of money with somebody that lives in Cologne. So there must be difference in that expenses, living expenses. So if you are targeting to go somewhere like Stuttgart and all that, so you have to be preparing yourself to know if it's, even if you type living expensive expenses total in Stuttgart, many things will come up. You will have an idea of how much is a 2-bedroom flat or 1-bed flat or even a house. How much is this? You have to make sure that while you are preparing that proof of funds, it will align to what the government have as living expensive or expenses for one person, two persons, or two adults with children. So it must align with what they already have in their record. So proof of your status in your country. Like I said before, that's why I started. Because proof of your status in your country, this is the first time I'm hearing it. But when I called on Friday, they told me that it's the national identity. Like I told you before, that when I was in Nigeria, as a growing up adult, there's nothing like national identity. Maybe because of these laws, Nigeria provided that ID card for each citizen so that they can have it smooth when handling this immigration stuff and all that. I don't know whose tenor is in Nigeria that we started using national ID card. I don't know, because I've left Nigeria, because all my years in Nigeria, I have not seen somebody using, I've not heard of it, national ID card for Nigerians. Maybe it's new. So this is the 5 requirements. You can see that it's so easy. So what are you going to do now? What you're going to do now is to go and apply. But first of all, like I always say, make sure that when you're bringing your proof of fund, it's aligning to what I used Stuttgart as an example. It aligns to what people in Stuttgart can depend on or can live off from. If you say that you have 400 if you say that you have 400 euros, can that 400 euros feed you, pay rent, pending when you get job? Pending when you get job, because you are leaving your country without a job. That is why it is called Germany Job Seekers Visa. Germany is asking youths like you watching this to come over to Germany. Germany is number 1 and strongest European Union economy. So there will always be jobs that will suit you to do, or suit your belief or whatever. But I know that getting everything ready, like proof of funds, that's where people make mistake. Prepare it to the extent when somebody is reading it, have it in your mental, in your brain, that if somebody is reading what I'm saying about this money figures, will it make sense to them? That is the thing you have to consider. So when you have gathered these things, you have gotten all these things, then you proceed to apply for a visa with your passport. And once you get it, you buy your flight ticket and start moving. I don't know of people with family, because the guy I asked, the Korean guy that is in Germany that I asked, told me that they don't ignore mistakes from proof of funds. They don't ignore the mistakes. That is why, because nobody in this Europe want you to come and start eating their money or eating from their services without contributing your own quota, like tax or all those taxes. If you're not paying it, so it is hard. So that is what you have to bear in mind. You have to get your proof of funds, because that is what is making people lose this visa opportunity. You have to make sure that you have done your own research. If I want to go and stay in Stuttgart and I will be applying for job there, check how much is rent for like 3 or 6 months. Keep it and as in your bank account, so that it will be reflecting that you have money. Maybe if it's 400, it is easy. So don't make mistake in area of your proof of funds. That is why people are losing this. So make sure that proof of funds will align to where you're going to. So when you get to Germany, make sure that you stay as, obedient citizen, that, respecting your host cultures and their food. And, we shouldn't be loud anymore, because it costs us a lot of things. So if you check the money and everything, put it in your bank account, so that when you're printing it, you're using it to show proof of funds. Money that will cater for you is there. Remember, I said if $200 is your 6 months rent, $200 is your upkeep, transport, feeding, and all that. So that's 400 euro. So now you have to make sure that that 400 euros per month will be times 6. Like 6 months. This is, you have to use your brain. So what you'll be living is 400 times 6. That is your 6 months living expenses and all that. This is the way it works. So I wish you well in your application. Make sure that if you have anything confusing, you come to WTP. We are always there waiting for you to ask your questions. Thank you so much for visiting. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.